A father shot dead in his own bed. 16 years ago, Frank Brown was found dead in his home in Castle Hayne. As WWAY's Hannah Patrick reports, investigators at the New-Hanover-County Sheriff's Office are still looking for the person responsible in a case that remains unsolved.
16 years ago, Frank Brown lived in this house at 2006 Oakley Road in Castle Hayne.
Frank went to work. He worked hard. He came home. He mowed his yard. He took care of his house.
On July 3rd, 2002, the New-Hanover County Sheriff's Office got a 911 call from that address.
The 911 call came from actually Frank Brown's son, Michael, who was 17 at the time. And he was with his stepbrother and then a friend of theirs.
Detective Justin Varela says just before 10 that night, the three boys drove to Frank's house for a quick visit.
They see Frank Brown's truck actually backing out of the driveway.
But Frank was not behind the wheel.
So they followed the truck for a little while, and then they ended up turning around and going back to the house.
And when they went inside,
Frank was actually lying in bed and had suffered head injury.
A fatal gunshot wound. Varela says Michael immediately called 911 and first responders arrived.
Frank was obviously beyond any life-saving measures,
leaving his son and investigators with lots of unanswered questions. What happened to Frank's truck?
It's been reported that, at least one of them saw the truck come back by the house while they were there and while they were trying to get emergency personnel on scene. And then the truck ends up somewhere shortly down the road.
Was it a robbery?
Didn't appear to be any signs of forced entry, so it wasn't a home invasion. The house didn't appear to be ransacked.
Did Frank even see it coming?
At the time that this happens, Frank's actually laying in his own bed, probably watching TV. He could have even been asleep at the time. There doesn't seem to be any signs of a struggle, any indication that Frank tried to fight anybody.
Was this a planned murder?
This could have very well been, an ambush.
But why would someone want to take Frank Brown's life?
What I can tell you about Frank is that everybody that we've talked to over the years, really good guy. He was a very moral person.
Varela says Brown lived alone, but his son lived back and forth between his house and Michael's mom's house.
The relationship between he and his ex-wife wasn't tumultuous.
Varela says Brown's neighbors all liked him.
Said that, he was a good guy that pretty much kept to himself. He was happy-go-lucky.
He says Brown was the assistant manager at the Wrightsboro Food Lion.
He tried to help people when he could. The employees that were spoken to at Food Line said that he was a very jovial person, liked to joke around with everybody. They felt like they could talk to him.
A plaque still hangs in the break room at that Food Lion in his memory.
You look at Frank's background, it makes you wonder why. Why would this happen? Who would have wanted to kill this man? It appears that someone had to be angry with him. Someone was mad. I don't know what he could have done to someone to make them this angry. With murder comes motive.
Varela says this was not a random act.
There was some sort of connection between Frank and his killer.
But who was it? And why did they do it? The two questions that remain unsolved.
If you have any information, please contact the New-Hanover County Sheriff's Office. To see this story and dozens of other unsolved cases in the Cape Fear, head to wwaytv3.com/unsolved.